Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Tim from the Holt Real Estate Team. Once again, we're back at it. So I'm just here in my office and I am, again, just getting up more videos on my YouTube channel. As I said in my introductory video a little bit ago, I actually lost my other channel due to technical difficulties. So just redoing the whole bunch of videos I had. So really quickly, I wanted to start this video by talking about buyer's agency and what is buyer's agency and what is it, why it's important, and all of that stuff. So, in a real estate transaction, you have something called buyer's agency, and you have the list agency on the other side. So, as I said, I'm a real estate agent, and I've worked on both the list side and the buyer's side. So, let's say, for example, if I have a person that is interested in purchasing a house and they say, well, Steve, why do I need a buyer's agent? Like, what is buyer's agency? What is the benefits? Why do I need it? Why is it important? So, buyer's agency is going to be important for three main reasons. You might also hear it referred to as broker's agency because technically, the buyer has an agency agreement with the firm or the broker, not technically with the agent. The agent is going to be, 9 times out of 10, the agent is going to be what they call a designated agent. And that means that that agent from, in my case, it would be the Holt Real Estate Team with Keller Williams right here. So I would be the designated agent for Bob Jones. Let's say, and Bob Jones is looking for a house. So I would be the point man for that buyer's side of the transaction. So the first reason why buyer's agency is important is because it allows the agent to work in the client's best interest. The client does not become a client until an agency relationship is signed. So prior to agency relationship, that person is called a customer. And I know that when I first got into real estate, that differentiation was hard for me to wrap my head around. So before a buyer or listing agency is signed, that person is a customer, and an agent such as myself owes certain duties to customers. But when an agency relationship is created through the signing of a buyer's agency or a listing agency, then the agent or the firm owes additional duties to a client because they now become a client instead of a customer. So the first reason, getting back to the first reason that buyer's agency is important is because then you have a firm with a designated agent totally 100% in your corner. That, again, that person is going to be the point man in all negotiations, all questions, everything related to that transaction is going to get funneled through that agent. And that agent is a trained real estate agent. So that's the first reason why buyer's agency is important. So, or broker's agency in some localities. The second reason it's important is because the agent on the buyer side, as well as the list side, but we're talking about buyer's agency in this case, the agent is going to have access to certain data, certain material, certain information that you as an ordinary person don't have access to. So that agent is going to be able to dig a lot deeper into a property's history, a property's faults, if any, tax records, all sorts of stuff that you are not going to be able to access because you don't have the tools that typical real estate agents have. In addition to that, a real estate agent is going to understand the terminologies and the deadlines and everything connected to buyer's agency and connected to real estate so that the average person that may not have ever bought a house might not understand. So that's the second reason. So the third reason is it's kind of related to the first reason. You have somebody that is totally in your corner and you have a uh, agreement with a firm. So, for example, if the first agent, say, getting back to Bob Jones, say I die or something happens to me, maybe I get abducted by aliens, I don't know, so I drop out of the picture, that agency agreement still stands because it's not with me, it's with the firm. So my broker might step in, or another agent of the whole real estate team might step in to complete the transaction. So that person is protected by that buyer's agency. So, in the state of Wisconsin, which is the state I'm in, state law has changed in recent years, and so buyers, before I can legally show a buyer, a customer, a house, I have to either have a buyer's agency signed or something called a pre-agency agreement signed. And that's actually beneficial for both the agent and the buyer because it makes sure that the buyer has some kind of protection, and it makes sure the agent has some kind of protection too, because the agent too needs to be compensated for their time, their travel, their supplies and materials and whatnot. So those are just three top reasons. If you're wondering why buyer's agency is important or what it is, those are just top three reasons why it's important. And if you are looking for a real estate agent, I really highly recommend you sign buyer's agency with that agent. That gets that out of the way. You're going to be fully represented, fully protected, fully taken care of. So, any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'd love to get the conversation started with you. Thanks so much for watching the video.